Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering the LTA North Split 2 season. My guest at this time is Abbedagge of Disguise coming off of their match against FlyQuest, in which they came out on the losing end in said match and in said competition. So Abbedagge, thank you so much for the opportunity. Of course, this is coming off of a loss, so I'm sure you're not feeling the best of times, but nevertheless, I gotta ask you, what's going through your mind after finishing that match?
Um, I'm honestly not too unhappy. We the emotions were obviously like everyone was a bit angry about the loss. I think that game was in our hands to win. It is a better feeling that at least it was in our hands, because yesterday, honestly, we didn't show up at all. We didn't play how we knew that we are like a way better team in practice, but yesterday we couldn't transfer it to stage. But at least we made a lot of improvements for today, and today also showcased like a lot of the problems that we have from practice. So kind of like realizing what we have to fix for next time to improve. I think is a big point for next time.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely understand, the process that it is within this team and how difficult it is to kind of like translate from practice to the main stage and having to like try to follow that up in consecutive days. And like you mentioned, of course, the first match in this week in which you guys took on Lion Gaming. And so like how were you guys able to try to move on from that to today, and with the team featuring yourselves facing off against one of the top teams in this league in FlyQuest, how was the transition like for yourself and also for the rest of the team?
Well, I think firstly we actually ended up with a draft that we didn't really plan for, and that we didn't put as much time in practice. So we kind of felt like not as comfortable from the get-go. So we also weren't too sure of how to execute our draft. And I think today we had a really good idea of our identity. And so yeah, like just some small adjustments in draft, and also about our communication helped us like perform today. I can't hear you actually.
Sorry about that. I had my mic accidentally muted. You mentioned something about the identity of the team real quick, in your most recent answer. I want to ask you a little bit about that. How would you describe this guy's current identity at this current point in the season?
Um, I well, I think we don't have like any crazy play style, to be honest. We kind of play what's meta. I think there's a lot of strong top laners, and in Castle we have a strong mechanical top laner. Obviously, like I'm not gonna leak like all the strategies, but like I think right now we are still trying to find like what works best for us, and kind of experimenting. We're still a relatively fresh team, but I think we can carry through every lane. So yeah, we're not afraid to draft towards that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, of course. And they're definitely a work in progress for this squad, given that we're still fresh into this season. So, a lot of games to be played to figure out exactly where you guys are at, both figuratively and also literally. So, Abbedagge, I want to move over to a different topic and just kind of ask you more focusing on like your technically return to North America in a different stage, yes, but as a same player. I mean, it'd be fair to say it might be different on that. But what I'm trying to get at is, it's been a few years since you last appeared in a competitive setting for a North American team back then in 2022 when you were part of 100 Thieves, and so had to go through plenty of twists and turns competing in ERLs, competing in the LEC, and all of that stuff to return to this league. And so what I want to ask you is sort of like, how have you viewed your time in Europe, and how has that kind of shaped you amidst your return to North America?
Uh, well, so the last 2 years they have been kind of, I don't know what's the best word, but kind of like a reality check. I didn't like the top teams weren't as like really interested in me anymore. Before I was used to being at the top in 100 Thieves. So after that year, I didn't receive an offer. Then Excel picked me up in the summer. I played like pretty well. I think I improved a lot, but in the end, after that summer split, there was actually I was looking to play on a top team, or like at least for main league like LEC or LCS, like LTA now. And yeah, in the end, I might have been on a team, but in the like as you know, like off seasons, they sometimes they don't work out. I didn't get on a team, and then it really showed me like, oh, like am I not on the level anymore of like being in the best league or in Europe or North America respectively. So I just kind of took it as like, okay, I'm gonna have to just prove myself. I'll have to improve a lot to go back to where I want to play at, because I am a player that always strives for a top performance, and so my progress was mostly just focusing on becoming a better player. So I decided to play on KC and just prove myself in the regional league in LFL and try to make an impression at EU Masters. Didn't work out too good at the end because we didn't win and BDSA took it over us. But we were like probably the second best team in the national leagues at the time. And yeah, I'm pretty lucky that in the end this guys picked me up, and that I have the opportunity now to prove myself in the main league again. And yeah, I'm super grateful about that. So, and my goal is just to become like one of the best players in the main league at the end of the year.
Does it feel like it's kind of like an attempt to have a renaissance for yourself, like with this stint with this guys?
Yeah, basically because I think most people kind of have written me off. They just think, okay, Abbedagge, he's pretty washed now. And honestly, I'm not too happy with my performance. I'm not proving them wrong at the moment or during the first couple matches. But I'm confident that at the end of the year, I'll prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, of course, and as I said, start of the year, plenty of games to play, and yeah, just gotta work on actually making the turnaround happen. And so, one more question I want to ask you because the time is running out. More so, just sort of like what it's like having to play with the rest of the squad, because obviously a brand new cast of players, some of which you've already had kind of like past history with, like Kuki and stuff. And so, yeah, how is it? How has the synergy building has been like for yourself and the rest of the team? Where are you guys currently at right now in terms of like cohesiveness and like synergy?
So we actually have a lot of like different personalities on the team and different views of how to play the game. So at the beginning, I think our synergy was very like it was catastrophic. I don't think it's very good right now, but we already made a lot of improvements, and I think if we keep going at this pace, like I can see us performing like pretty good actually. I think we have the mechanical talent to play at the top of the league, but it's just the biggest problem of our team is like not being on the same page at the moment, and like kind of the communication around that. We actually had during the off time between winter and spring split and Korea bootcamp for 1 month, and I think that kind of helped us for sure, like getting more on the same page and just getting to know each other better. So just with time, I think we're going to get better.
Of course, and over you guys able to do that. I have a feeling that they're telling you to wrap up, so I'm gonna have to do that right now. So, Abbedagge, thank you so much for the interview. Really do appreciate it, and thank you so much, and best of luck for.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you so much.